holy sweet Jesus. So I wanted to tackle this before other people got a chance to. I wanted to be the first one, and I don't know if I honestly am, but let me tell you something. This, and I don't even know where I'm going with this video. What I do know is I want to talk about a game called Undefeated. Now, this is a game made by one single person. It's a Japanese developer, and this is a real thing. You can actually do the demo on Steam. Now, I don't have it. I haven't done it yet. I can if you guys want to see more of it. I can definitely try it, see what the you have to it. I think that the video, and hopefully I'll be able to show the video, what the video shows is kind of evident enough of like what we're talking about, that a Superman game is actually possible, guys. We've always had the discussion for years. Is a Superman game possible? How do you do it? How do you balance these things? And, all right, now, in all honesty, it doesn't show everything. We don't get a fair amount in this. But, you combine this, and there was another game like a year or so ago. I think Angry Joe actually did a video on it as well, where he talked about, like, are you kidding me? Like, there's a game out there where you basically are Superman, okay? It's not Superman, but you're basically Superman, and you're doing Superman things. And it is possible, okay? So when we look to Warner Bros., when we look to our Lord and Saviors, Rocksteady, or Warner Bros. Montreal, or whatever other studio you want to look to, they need to figure it out. I don't know, well, I guess here's the deal. Remember, the issue with Warner Bros. With Superman is they don't want, they're not allowing their own developers to make it unless it basically fits in like the Arkham engine. That's why Gotham Knights actually works. I assume Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League will be reasonably close, but those two games are not Superman, okay? And when they were trying to make a Superman game, Warner Bros. Said, well, does it function like Arkham? And they said, well, no. And they said, okay, well, stop doing it, all right? And that's boiled down. That's kind of what's happened over the last several years inside Warner Bros. But look, again, 2 minutes and 22 seconds. It's not finished. It's not remotely finished. There's not a lot in there. You can only do like 3 different things in it, but it's already better than having nothing like we do from Warner Bros. Okay? The fact that, and what I will say is this does encapsulate some of the biggest things we want in a superhero, or not just a superhero game, in a Superman game, where flying through things, there is 1000% an impact there, and and I don't know, like, you just look at the particles and look at the actual things that he's hitting when he goes through them. They break apart very realistically. He does like a Kamehameha kind of thing. It looks incredible. He does his laser vision. It looks incredible. He makes like a circle out of things, and he purposely tried to show like, okay, well, if you do it to trees, here's what it'll look like. Here's how the bark will react, and here's how like the actual like the leaves will, what will happen if you hit something. It'll maybe just completely disappear. The Rock, my dear God, the Rock, how it takes actually quite a while to break it, and certain parts of it are still around. I mean, it's like, I have conflicting thoughts when I see these things, right? Because you see this, you see the game again, but I think that was a Japanese developer as well, or something, like a few years ago. You look at these games, and I don't know about you guys, but, well, number one, like, I go through, like, the 5 stages of grief. I don't think there's 5, but number 1, I'm like, oh my dear God, like, these guys are talented. You know what I mean? And again, this is one single person, so he's very talented. So you look at it and you say, oh my dear Jesus, what a, hopefully we can all support him. Good job to this guy, okay? Then we look at it and say, oh my God, look at all the fun things that we're going through. But then, and maybe those two things are combined together, but then we enter the next stage, which is disbelief and anger, I would say, in that, okay, one single man. Rocksteady has more than one man, and they also have women too. Warner Bros. Montreal, Warner Bros. In general, Warner Bros. Games, they have a lot of studios, they have a lot of employees, they got a lot of laborers, right? They got a lot of people that can make things for them, and they can't do this? They can't pull this off? Are you out of your mind? There's no way. There's no way. The answer to that is there's no way. And the only thing I can think of is you keep going back to kind of what we know. This game, what we saw years ago from the other game, I don't even think it was all that long ago. It was like 1 or 2 years ago. These games don't run like Arkham. These games can never work in the Arkham engine. Okay, we all know that. And if that is the only thing holding them back, I don't know what the issue is. I don't know why they haven't looked at something like how can you, at DC, at Warner Bros. Games, at wherever ideas need to go through, how do you, and I'm sure this video has been sent to them, like they've seen it, okay, through the grapevine. How do you see this and say, one man pulled this off, but we're not letting a team make a game because it's 1000% possible. Now, again, there are issues. How do you focus? How does speed work? Health is a big one to me, right? How does your health work? How does the enemy? Because if the enemies are human and you're Superman, technically what? Like one punch should kill them, okay? So how do you balance that? Do they have armor that's very, powerful, very defensive? Why can their attacks hurt you? Again, with speed, can you how fast can you go from one end of the map to the other? Like, do you have an issue there? Is there an issue with like pop-ins and stuff like that? But to be honest with you, the way some of those things I do think are actually quite difficult to figure out. I'm sure there's ways, but I agree that they'd be more difficult. Some of these things would be more difficult than others, but especially the last thing I said, like with the engines that we're now getting, with the power of consoles and PC, okay? You should be able to do this. Like, draw distance should be enough where you could theoretically go through an entire map. There'd be no loading. There'd be nothing, okay? In fact, you can do that for Spider-Man. Now, you can't see one side of the map to the next, and if you didn't do that in the Superman game, does that kind of hurt it a little bit? I guess, but again, I think some things you just have to live with, right? We're not gonna, number one, we probably aren't gonna get a Superman game, at least for quite a while, and number two, when we do, it's not literally gonna be a perfect game. There'll, of course, be issues with it, and we'll have to reconcile with that, you know what I mean? So, it's this is tough. Like, I saw this actually when it came out, like the day it came out. I didn't say anything. I wanted to kind of give it a little bit. I don't know how many people actually saw this. I really don't. There's articles on it and it's made its way around, but I actually think it's a relatively quieter story. But dear Jesus, like, I'm impressed. I mean, it visually looks amazing. Again, like how everything works, right? Like the physics of the game look insanely good. I mean, from what I read, I think it was like comicbook.com. From what I read, like this guy posts consistent updates, and every time he shows this game again, it looks better and better. So is this game the Superman game that we'll never get from Warner Bros? Possibly. I think I really do think we will. Because how do you let this happen? And by the way, if this game comes out, one man, and it does like bananas, right? People are like, it may not be perfect, but like, we can't get this anywhere. Like, nobody else has done this, so we're gonna support it. Say the game sells 1 million copies, which maybe it would be a bit too much, but just say it, okay? Say 100,000. One man made this game, sold 100,000 copies. How do you not, and it's not Superman, right? Because it's licensed, you can't actually do that. How do you not give it to Rocksteady? How do you not do that? So it's aggravating. Aggravating is kind of the stage of grief after being amazed by just how amazing it is. I know that actually doesn't make sense because I used the same word twice, but let me know in the comments below, guys. What do you think? Did you see this video? Obviously now you have. What do you think about it? Okay, do you think that we could ever get it from Warner Bros, from one of their own studios? Let me know. As always, make sure you guys are subscribed. Make sure you guys have the bell icon turned on so you know all these videos go up. If you guys want to follow me on Twitter, if I ever see this stuff again, I'll be sure to kind of tweet it out to spread more awareness on it. Make sure you are following me. Podcast Now 15 is my Twitter handle. Would love to have you guys over there. We're approaching 2,000 followers. Would love to hit that sooner rather than later. Thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I hope to see you all on the next video.